Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NEPA TV show. I'm your host, NEPA TV. And we're watching game number 3 between Serral and ShoWTimE. If you tuned into the last 2 games, those were pretty cool. So welcome to the 3rd game. If you didn't see those other 2 games, I'd recommend you do it, but you do what you want, man. You're American. Everyone's America. Even, Japan's America. Even Germany, you're all American. The whole world. Anyways, we're probably going to get a lot of hate from that. Anyways, we got Serral as the blue Zerg and ShoWTimE as the red Protoss. He's blocking the hatchery right now. And that could prove to be pretty annoying, but hey, sometimes this game gets really annoying. A lot of you veteran StarCraft players know that Serral is not having any of this crap from ShoWTimE, so he is just going to expand over in the third base, the projected third base, that is, which is actually nice and secure. ShoWTimE is sending his probe over to the third base. He does see it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of aggressive play at this time from ShoWTimE. Maybe a cannon rush, maybe some kind of a depth play at some point. That's going to happen, obviously, but, Yeah, Serral's getting an extractor, and he is putting 3 guys in that extractor. He's getting a spawning pool. Pretty standard so far. ShoWTimE going that Gateway Nexus Cyber Core. I'm actually surprised that Protoss players aren't doing that double gateway before Cyber Core kind of build. I feel like it's actually a smart decision, because if you go double gateway, I feel like that's going to be more aggressive, but it could not be. Usually if you do double gate, you get those 2 adepts out and you start doing some Raz and stuff. Maybe that's out of style. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Who does know what they're talking about? Even the people that know what they're talking about or claim to know what they're talking about, they don't know what they're talking about. Nobody knows. The world is unknown, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna think that way until we die. All right, so on that positive note, we got some drones heading over to the hatchery over here, and they're transferring. Got some lings out. That probe is still scouting. Lings are not attacking that right now, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal, so we'll just keep focusing on the more important stuff. Serral is going to try to get his natural down, but he does see the probe. Lings are being sent to take care of that. So, we are seeing pretty much the same style from ShoWTimE. We have some Stargate action. We'll probably see an Oracle with some stasis bombs and some, some of that laser action on the drones. Laser action's always annoying versus Zergs. It gives them an instant migraine once they see that Oracle. Adept is phasing in. Gonna get some scouting information, see the saturation. We do see a little over half saturation at the third base here. So yeah, pretty standard out of these 2. And we actually do see a Void Ray coming out first. I think this could be all Protosses in the meta right now, but from what I'm seeing from ShoWTimE, he always gets that Void Ray first, and then he gets an Oracle. So maybe because the Zerg's already expecting Stargate, because as you can see, the Spore is going down already for Serral, which is pretty cool stuff. Natural's almost done for Serral, and pretty soon he will be right where he needs to be economically versus the Protoss. You don't know, I think this still applies, but Zergs need to be 1 base ahead of the Protoss at all times just to be even. Don't know the science behind that, don't know the reasoning, but it kind of makes sense. If you're able to get an expansion faster, why not take advantage of your advantages, Looks like the Adept did go in, didn't get any kills so far, and but did force the drones to be pulled out, which does delay some mining, and double gas is going down for Serral. Interesting placement. It's going to be down here. I figured he just placed it here because his camera was already focused at this location from that little Adept strike. Oracle's moving in from the backside, going to try to do some harass. There is a Spore here. It is planting. It will plant by the time the Oracle gets here. And Spore is also in the natural. We do see a stasis mine going down, and smartly, Serral is just going to send one of his drones to proc that stasis mine. And that is some pretty stellar micro. These guys are professional. If I have not said it before, I will say it again for the 42nd time. These guys are professional, and all of this is pretty much second nature to them, like driving stick shift. That made sense somewhere. Shield battery in the third base. As we know, shield batteries are pretty damn strong. So that's pretty cool. Handful of wings here, just gonna apply some kind of presence. And then we have some void rays on patrol, just scouting ahead to see if there's any ling run bys or anything like that. Looks like the Oracle did fly by here, and I think the Queens actually were attacking it. We have an Overlord, and we're seeing that infamous Queen drop from Serral. This is pretty spicy, and we got some roaches and lings coming out. Void rays did catch one of the roaches taking a smoke break, and he is still alive, so that's good. This roach probably not. Yes, he is. Wow, okay. Not this one. Yep. And the Queens are dropping, and I really like this play. It was kind of weird at first to see, but the Queen drop is going to be very nice versus these Void Rays. He could just, since the Queens are so slow off creep, he could just drop the Queens as he can. Learning from his mistake from game 1, dropping the Queens before the Overlords die. I wouldn't be surprised if Serral's going to send more Overlords just to make the Queens more mobile. Lings are going in. A very nice wall-in from ShoWTimE, though. And only Sky Toss. The Oracle is going in with his laser, but it is he has to pull back. And Serral is actually doing a significant amount of damage. And I didn't see this, but there's actually a ling drop in the back base. The shield battery is kind of protecting it a little bit, but it's really can't do anything. The Queens are doing work versus the Void Rays, and I don't see any ground units. There's some Zealots here. This is turning into a really bad situation for ShoWTimE. Serral's moving up. He's going to go straight for the jugular. He's going to take care of the Zealots. He knows that there is no ground forces for ShoWTimE. He knows that the Void Rays can only churn out so much. Transfusions on the Ravagers, and the Queens are focus firing the Void Rays, but this wall out for ShoWTimE, but he lets the Lings in, and the Lings are going straight for the main base, going straight for the main, going right there for the probes, and that was a very, very critical mistake from ShoWTimE to let those Lings in, because now they're not really doing that much damage, so I sound like an idiot. That's okay, because Roaches and Ravagers are pushing right through the wall, and they're destroying structures one at a time. Yeah, sure. ShoWTimE does have some of the sky, and has some Void Rays here, but it doesn't really matter because I guarantee that there are more forces coming in. No, they're not. I sound like an idiot again. Serral, what the heck? Why are you doing this to me? But still, lots of damage. Void Rays are still here, but one of the Void Rays could go down, but not this day, I guess. Queens are still doing work, and ShoWTimE actually is gonna hold this off. I am shocked that he is holding this off, but at what cost? He lost the cybernetics core. He lost power to his gateway. And at this point, ShoWTimE does not have any other option. He is going to counterattack. If he fails here, this could be game. We have some Hydralisks being churned out. We have some Queens at the ready, and it looks like creep tumors are going down. There's a pylon that is being made, a proxy there. Queens are a little out of position there. This Queen is probably going to die. It does. There is a significant Hydralisk force, and it is stopping the Revelation on the Hydralisk Queen combo, and a base is actually going down for Serral. ShoWTimE has to pull back. He can't engage against all of that anti-air at this time. But he has some Adepts going in. He's got a little bit of a ground force. There's a Revelation down on the main force again. And as you can see, we have some Hydralisks coming out, some more Voiders coming out, and we do see some upgrades going down as well. And this could be potentially the last fight. Serral's being really smart. He is fighting just on creep. Once the Protoss leaves the creep, he is not even touching that with a 10-foot pole. We have a counterattack with the Lings at the third base. ShoWTimE thought he could get a base down, but Serral's like, nah, I'm gonna take your base. The Hydralisk does die. There's some transfusions on this hero Hydralisk, and some Void Rays do go down. And ShoWTimE does have to pull back. Lings are let through again, and they're gonna have some scouting information and even do some economic damage on the main base here. There is a fight going on right now. Tons of Hydras, tons of Queens. The only thing that Serral can do is focus right at this point, but the Adepts are simply too strong. This isn't looking good. It's actually looking pretty even. We got some Hydras on the left side. We have some Queens on the other side. The overcharge from the Void Rays, and it looks like Serral is holding it, but that's GG! I'll see you in the next game!